Ayan, Mimo. And the time travel with Abraham Lincoln. One sunny afternoon, Ayan, the curious 5-year-old boy, and his fluffy Scottish fold kitten Mimo were playing in their backyard. Mimo's kittens, Coffee, Lion, and Marshmallow, were chasing butterflies and pouncing on the grass. Ayan, do you ever wonder what it would be like to meet someone from history? Mimo asked with a mischievous glint in her eye. Wow, that sounds amazing. Who should we meet? Ayan asked, his eyes wide with excitement. How about we travel back in time and meet President Abraham Lincoln? Mimo suggested. With a flick of her tail, the garden transformed into a swirling vortex of colors. In an instant, Ayan and Mimo found themselves standing in front of a grand, old building with tall columns and a beautiful garden. A tall man with a distinctive top hat and a friendly face was walking toward them. Hello there, the man called out, tipping his hat. I'm Abraham Lincoln. Welcome to the White House. Wow, you're President Lincoln, Ayan exclaimed. Yes, indeed, Lincoln said with a warm smile. It's a pleasure to meet you. Would you like to join me for a tour of the White House and hear about some important things? Ayan and Mimo eagerly followed President Lincoln through the grand halls of the White House. They saw magnificent rooms filled with historical artifacts and portraits. As they walked, Lincoln explained how he worked to bring the country together during challenging times. He shared stories about his life, his love for reading, and his deep belief in equality and freedom. Mr. Lincoln, what was the hardest part of being president? Ayan asked. Lincoln paused and looked thoughtfully at the young boy. The hardest part was making decisions that would affect the whole country, especially during times of conflict. But I always tried to do what was right, and to listen to the needs of the people. Mimo, curious as ever, asked, what was your favorite thing about being president? Lincoln chuckled and said, my favorite part was meeting people from all walks of life and hearing their stories. It reminded me why I worked so hard to make things better for everyone. As they continued their tour, Lincoln showed them his famous top hat and his favorite chair in the Oval Office. Ayan and Mimo were amazed by the stories and the history behind each object. I've always wanted to learn more about the past, Ayan said. Thank you for showing us all this. Lincoln smiled and said, it's important to remember our history so that we can learn from it and make the future better. And always remember, every person has the power to make a difference. With the sun beginning to set, it was time for Ayan and Mimo to return home. They thanked President Lincoln for the incredible day. Thank you for everything, Mr. Lincoln, Ayan said, hugging the president. Yes, thank you for sharing your world with us. Mimo purred. Remember Ayan and Mimo, Lincoln said with a twinkle in his eye. Never stop learning and always strive to do what is right. The future is yours to shape. In a flash, Ayan and Mimo were back in their backyard, surrounded by Coffee, Lion, and Marshmallow. They looked at each other with wide smiles. That was amazing, Mimo, Ayan said. I want to learn more about history and how we can make a difference just like President Lincoln.